Hello and welcome back to the channel. Henning Pauli here. I guess we're talking about AI music again because I got a lot of comments from you. Some people said we want to hear more of your thoughts. And now after a video that did really well, where I got a lot of comments from you guys, I have more insights on your point of view. And some of what I'm going to say you're not going to like, but that's okay. First of all, thanks for all your concerns on the last video on AI, where I said I am done. It's not true. I'm not done. You have to understand it. A was for shock value, because after all, we need to get the clicks and thumbnail and all that stuff. But the main idea was I am done. I would be done if I still had to do what I was trained to do, which is be a musician and be an arranger. Because now with Suno Studio, that job can be done by anyone who's untrained, who has an idea of where they want to go, right? If you know what strings do, you can say, write me some strings. You still have to be able to know which one is a good part and which one isn't. But realistically, what I was trained to do really doesn't hold a lot of value anymore. So people came to me. My old guitar teacher came to me. Many people wrote. Some people called. Very, very nice. I love you guys for doing that. And I wanted to know, are you okay? I don't do that job anymore. When people say, can you arrange something? Can you produce my band? I say, no, I can't, because I'm way too busy doing reviews on YouTube. Which is what my job turned into over 10 years ago. So at this point, the music AI Suno stuff isn't a threat. For me, it's actually enlightening. It's actually helping me. It's pushing me forward as a musician. I'm going to go into this a little bit later. Your comments. A lot of the comments, and there's probably 1,000 of them, please don't take offense. I'm just trying to sum up what I've seen as far as AI music goes, okay? No offense, but a lot of these comments come from us. A lot of these comments come from musicians. Because musicians watch my channel. My channel is not being frequented by the average guy, girl. So, we're very biased. So, us musicians who have voiced their opinions say, yeah, it's good, but, live music's going to be where it's at. Personally, I'm not sure about that. Rafa came over and had ideas. Yeah, well, we talked about it. Talked with many friends, sometimes very heated arguments. Okay, so some of you said, yeah, but live music. Again, a musician's point of view. One comment that was very frequent was, yeah, but the stuff you played, shit music. I would never listen to that. Nobody asked you. That's the sad thing. Nobody asked your opinion. Nobody asks our opinion as musicians. The fact that you don't like this generic AI slop that Suno can create, it doesn't matter that you don't like it, that you don't consider it good music because your musical tastes are so much more elevated than the rest. Musical tastes are not elevated. Suno and others are extremely good at very good generic music. Within generic music, the phrasing, the arrangements, the chord progressions, the dynamics, the timing, feel, it's all there. It's very, very good. But it is, of course, generic. And then the comments, well, it just all sounds like Nickelback to me. Yeah. Because Nickelback never made any money. Yeah, nobody knows Photograph. Yeah, nobody listens to Nickelback. Yep, that's a band that nobody cares about. You don't care about it because you as a musician, you have your hoity-toity, I listen to better music. Yeah, okay, you know what? Doesn't matter. The average guy, the music listener, the average music fan does listen to generic music. Generic music is what they want. Generic music is mostly what is being listened to. All of country is generic. It is ultra generic. It is super replicatable, formulaic. K-pop, there's 100 new bands a year. You want to tell me that that's not formulaic? AI can absolutely do that. Nickelback type stuff. Nickelback themselves follow a formula on every album. It's super generic. It made them millions and millions. A lot of music is generic. I love Bon Jovi. There's absolutely nothing original about new Bon Jovi. It's just well-crafted rock music. Pop rock music, whatever you want to call it. There is, of course, some less generic music out there. If you, as the human, push the AI to do something less generic, it actually can do it. It's possible. But you got to prompt it. It won't do it by itself. If you just say, write me a song in style rock, it's going to be a generic song. That many people would enjoy. So all these comments saying, but what you played didn't impress me, was all shit, sounded like crap. Yeah, that's your opinion. The average music listener, who is the one paying to get, to the music in the ear, they enjoy generic music. So as much as we want to scream about it and say, me, bitch, it's not good. It's not good. People listen to total crap out there. Whether it's, the Kanye, the Drakes, or whatever. Okay, so we can go, where do we go? Let's go there. People are so used to robotic, auto-tuned voices. The actual human-made music sounds so fake now in certain styles. Probably not our styles, because we're guitar players, we like, the rough stuff. But when you go into pop music, again, Ye, whatever he calls himself now, the Jason Derulo's and that stuff, it is so auto-tuned and so artificial sounding that AI sounds way more realistic than what they do. That's just the sound now in music. But the point is that the people out there, the people listening to it, by the billions probably, have settled on music now sounds artificial. So that opened the door for AI to come in, because AI sounds artificial, but actually much less artificial than the R&B and hip hop and that kind of stuff that's using these super auto-tuned melodies. So the average listener decided we're okay with completely artificial crap. The average listener is going to be totally okay with AI music. That's the danger, not us. We are rebelling. The comments are clearly showing that many of you are in complete denial. Oh, it's never going to replace us, and live. What are you going to play live? What music are you going to play live with your band if it's almost impossible to cut through the bullshit of all the AI music being out there? Who's writing shit to me? Leslie. Average listener. Oh, live. That's where we are. Sorry. What are you going to play? You kind of write your own music and all that, but there's going to be a shift in how people experience music. Personalized music, we talked about that, all that. So what live music are you going to go and enjoy? And I know there's going to be that, of course. There will be live music, there will be concerts, but I have a feeling it will be less. I have a feeling that it will slowly trickle down. And also we have to consider us. We grew up in a certain environment where there was a band, and you were in a band, and you enjoyed bands, and you got to see bands live. Go down the road a little bit. What about the kids of today? They might not care anymore. I might be completely wrong about that, but it might shift to they don't give a shit because of how music is generated and perceived in general. I'm thinking the whole, but live, that's old farts. you and me, holding on to a beautiful has-been era of this is how we do music. Maybe not. Record labels. One comment really struck me. And the comment was, well, musicians have always been the butt of the joke. Musicians have always been the least appreciated in music. Now the fans claim, we love the musician, everything for the musicians. Bullshit! I am sorry. Fuck you guys. Not you guys. Fuck the music fans. Because any music fan out there that claims they love their band and they have a subscription to Spotify, they can fuck off. Because that's the biggest middle finger to the musicians you can do. We love you. We want to support you, but we actually give money to a thing that pays you 0.0002 per play. Anyone claiming they're a fan of music in general and a band, but they are subscribed to Spotify, fuck off. Now, I use AI for fun and personal growth. We'll get to that. But I have never been subscribed to Spotify. I've never listened to a single song on Spotify. And all my music, I've got many albums, many, that were on Spotify. I told the label, take them off. And they're like, you sure? Yeah. I do not want my music to be on there and them to make money with me. Out of principle. And that also, while we're on Spotify, anyone judging me for rearranging and producing some Suno-generated songs that I use for a guitar demo in a video, yeah, it's not art. No, it's not. I'm not releasing that as songs. It's never going to go up on some service so you can listen to these AI-generated songs that I produced. Anyone's got a problem with that and yelling at me who has a Spotify subscription? Fuck off. Honestly. That is so hypocritical. All about the musicians. No, you're not all about the musicians. Because you support Spotify. There's better, Apple pays more, Tidal pays a lot more. There's better services. So, if you got a Spotify subscription, don't go and bitch about AI. AI taking the money from, not asking the musicians for permission. Bullshit. Total bullshit. Okay? Be consequent. No, that's not, be. In German, we say konsequent. In English, we'd be saying consistent. Be consistent with your hate for things that don't support musicians. So that guy said, the musician has always been the butt of the joke. Record labels have abused musicians for years. Record labels have given 17% to the artist, and out of those 17%, they had to pay back all the expenses. Everything. Right? The advance, everything. While the fat cats of the record labels bought islands. So we've always been the people doing the job and getting shafted. The end consumer didn't give a rat's ass. And that person that wrote the comment is fully right. Now they're not going to give a rat's ass. Now they're going to go to AI. And what happens to the musician? Who cares? We didn't support them, all these years. Let them have these horrible record company contracts and Live Nation and all these things that are not great for musicians. All of a sudden, here's AI. The end consumer isn't going to care. And if the end consumer doesn't care, people will make money off the end consumer and going around the musician. If a record label or Spotify is already doing it, or anyone can get music to make money with, to deliver to the end consumer who, for the most part, don't care. Now, this little bit here who are the musicians, we care, but nobody cares about if we care. The end consumer is going to consume the music that's going to be given to them. If there can be more money in it, that's what's going to happen. Now, radio stations could be just generating AI music and playing that. Someone's sitting there generating songs, picking the best one out of the 10. That's what's playing in the next half hour. Hey, caller, call in. What song you want to hear? Oh, I want to hear a song about a cow turning pink. Oh, okay, here's your song. What style do you want that in? And and then 20 minutes later, the song's playing. Stupid concept, but completely free of royalties and licensing for the radio station. Every time the radio station plays a song of an artist, they have to pay money. And the radio station is in the business of making money. So why wouldn't they do that? Exactly. So this might be something that could happen. Now I watch TV in the background. Something that I actually really like is Ninja Warrior Germany. Watch it every year. And they always have these songs when someone makes it up to the buzzer, and there's "He Can Be a Hero," whatever, or "Yeah, She Made It," whatever. Inspirational, motivational, sports metaphor songs, which they very clearly spend a lot of money on every year. They're not super famous songs, but they have songs. It's not that it's a famous, Swiftie song. It's that it is the right message for a couple of seconds where they play the chorus. Why wouldn't they go to AI, replace those songs that they spend a lot of money on with inspirational sports-themed songs on their show? That's going to happen 100%. And all that is going to happen here and there and on the radio, and the elevator music, that's going to be AI. And everywhere where music is a product. We're not talking about art. Most music isn't about the art. It really isn't. And whatever art is, it's really, honestly, cannot be defined. Everyone's got their own idea. But the point is, that's not even the point. Elevator music is a job someone does, so that goes ding, 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 while you ride the elevator. That can be AI music. You can be a hero in the sports show, that is totally serving a purpose. And that can be AI music. There's a lot of places where AI music can happen, which, if you take it all, and you take the art away and the band, right? We always think about the band. The band music is the smallest part of a music industry. TV, radio, film, elevator, games. There's a lot more music than what a band can do in playing at the pub. And if all that is cheaper and quicker and easier to generate with AI than with musicians, and the bottom line is this is cheaper and faster, then they will go for the bottom line, because in the end, people want to make money. And that means that's going to happen. And if all that happens, companies will sell less guitars and amplifiers and plugins and DAWs, and the handmade music will maybe be reduced to the band and the pub. But then the question is, does it make sense? Are we then in an environment where music teachers can have enough students? And if they can't teach. If they can't teach, nobody can learn. Do we have enough companies still making instruments? And so on and so on. Because that's a snowball effect that might then actually affect us as musicians who want to play in a band. So yeah, the bottom line is we as musicians have never mattered to the music industry. We've always been the assholes, and that hasn't changed. Case in point, Universal and some other company, big company, can't think of them anymore. They sued Suno and Udio, big lawsuit, for training on the artists. Now, the outcome that we were hoping for, wouldn't it have been nice for them to win and Suno having to kill the algorithm and start over, at least without the artist roster with Universal and the other company that I can't remember. Two big record companies. Well, that would have been what we would have wanted. Stop the training without our consent. Well, they found an agreement with these companies where now they can train on the whole catalog. Yep. And they get money. Now we would think, oh, well, that's great. At least the musicians get money. First of all, that's likely peanuts per artist. And secondly, the artists were still not asked. I guarantee you that Universal has the rights to make these decisions for their artists, which means all the artists in the catalog, they didn't write them emails, oh, is it okay if we include you in the training for the AI? No, the recordings belong to them. That means they will make the unilateral decision, everything in our catalog can be used for AI training, and yet the musicians were still not asked, even though the record companies sued. Unless, I'm not a Universal artist, so unless I'm wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong, they probably didn't ask the artists. And yet, we're exactly where we were before. Sono big company, trained illegally, which I doubt, and company sues, and they didn't ask, and company sues, wins, and still don't ask the artist. Record company gets more money, artist gets, at the best, 17% of that money, because that's the deal. Fuck the deal! Yeah, it's just always bad for the musician, and that's just how it is. We're just gonna have to, I guess, live with that. Again, I am not affected because I make silly YouTube videos. And I use AI songs to have fun with. But that's where we're at. Still not asked. Now I'm debating whether or not the way they were trained, these AIs were trained, is even illegal and required the consent of the artist. Because the way that apparently they trained was on YouTube. They looked at YouTube videos. Now, honestly, if I put a computer there and say, look at all the music on YouTube, learn from it. And then I say, write me a song in a rock style, based on the knowledge you now have. Did I have to ask the artists if that's okay? I understand, I fully understand. You claim, many of you claim, that the way a computer does it, it's just jingle stuff together. It's not sampling stuff together. It really isn't. But it is copy-pasting in a way, which I don't think it is. I don't know what it is, but let's just say it is. But what if I take a warehouse of 1,000 musicians and I have them watch YouTube for 10 years straight, all the music, learn from it, get it in their heads, 1,000 musicians. And then I go into the warehouse and say, write me an album in the style of the Beatles. But we didn't ask permission. Is that not the same? It might not be. I'm asking you. What do you think? Is that not the same? If I, as a company, put people in a room, train on the same source material, and then say, write me some, with the new material, with the newfound input that you have. Okay, what do I know? So, the whole live thing, I don't know if you're right about it. It all sounds like crap. Yeah, people listen to average music. I love generic music. I like Nickelback. I like Bon Jovi. Bruce Springsteen's nothing special. I'm sorry, Bruce. It's just good. Once in a while, there's a band that has something unique, but extremely rarely. I like country. I like good rock music. You want to tell me that power metal is in any way not the most fucking generic thing you've ever heard? Power metal is the most, the words are generic, the rhythms, the beats, the chord progression, 6, 5, 4, 5, 5 of 6, minor 6, super, super generic, but it's fun. Music can be fun while still being nothing new. If it's done well, it's all good. Don't think this AI thing is going to go away, because there's so much money in it, we're not going to stop it. I don't know how we would stop it. It's not yet big enough of a problem for the average guy. They just enjoy it. And you know what? There is an absolute, let's go into this for a second. There's an absolute space for AI music. And that's where you would never actually hire a musician to do the job anyway. Because it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense financially, it wouldn't make sense time-wise. You just wouldn't actually write this piece of music in any way if AI hadn't existed. For example, there's these videos on Instagram where someone does something and then it's all the comments. You know, they put snippets of all the comments on the screen. That's always funny stuff. The video was haha, but then the comments are much more haha. And there are now videos like this where the comments are chained together in a song. A Gregorian chant choir or something. That's a great use of AI music. It's not art, it's content. And it's fun, right? Now, sadly, the thing that I mentioned in, sports shows, that's where it will be used, but it's not really the example I was looking for. Now, for what I do, I always have used my music or music from bands that I produced in my videos for many, 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 many years. And now I do exactly the same thing. I produce the full song, but it was based on something AI wrote with lots of input from me. And I'm having a blast doing that. Now, I would never hire a band to do that because I have loads of music from myself. So the only person whose job I'm taking is me. I would not do a new song. I have loads of material, and sometimes I did drums with Felix Lehrmann, and then I produced stuff on top of there, and we used that for the videos. But in the end, it was all music that I did that then ended up in the videos. Now the AI stuff ends up in the videos. I'm not taking anyone's job. It's my job that gets replaced by me, so I still have a job. So it's really just expanding my job. But the difference is the music that I produced and wrote before was music that came out of me and was natural to me. Sounded like me, my music. What I love about the stuff I'm doing now is that each track allows me to push myself in a much further away direction than I would go naturally. If I'm trying to do something 60s like, well, I gotta nail the sounds, I gotta nail what are the styles, what are the chords, what are the extensions, how do you play that? And I wouldn't do that if I started from scratch. Now, if I have an AI song, like a band coming in, giving me that song, and I have to produce it, I replace everything, usually but the vocals, and having to program the drums. I just spent $500 on new drum samples. And I love trying to nail those types of sounds, those types of feels, putting it in the right room, nailing that production. That's a lot of fun for me because it's a challenge, because it's in a style that I'm not super familiar with.
Sing me the colors, play me the sound. Every shade of light will circle around again. Sing me the colors and play me the sound. All the hues of existence will finally be found when the rainbow hums in a Paragus guitar.
And that's what AI allows me. It's actually making me a more well-rounded musician with more skills than I had before. I feel skills I'm not going to need anymore because AI is there, right? But for me, it's really helping push myself further. I'm fucking 50. What do I know about modern music? Now, I listen to Bloodywood. That's what they're called. Bloodywood. Because some guy said, hey, check this out. And my mind was blown. That's so cool. Like Indian music with rap and Indian stuff in it, and then metal, but Indian themes and rhythms, super cool. So I said, cool, I would like to try something like that. So I prompted the AI, said, write me some modern metal but Indian influence and stuff like this. And you know, had to be a pretty long prompt. I did probably 10 songs to find something that I wanted to do. And that's something I would have never done myself, but that pushed me as a musician to work on something that isn't really me. Again, it's not going to be released. I can't even show you the full video because the guitar isn't released yet. It releases next year. But here's a little snippet of it. That's not something that I would do, but I now learned how to do that because of those circumstances.
Why?
Same way, and you heard it last week, I'm going to show you a little bit of that again. I got the Joey Landreth guitar from Duesenberg. I've never played slide in my life. But having a framework of an AI song that I now have to fill up with my own guitar parts, my own drums, and so on and so on, I learned so much. In that song, a lot of the drums were just bass drum on quarter notes. Now, that's not something I would do as an arranger. It's too simple. It's foreign to me. But the song showed me, the AI song showed me, hey, that's the thing. Try it. And I embellish it a bit, but I'm learning. I'm learning so much from these generated songs, and I'm getting better at more styles than I would have before. It's just how it is. Is it art? Nah, I'm having a blast. I'm having fun. Let me have my fun.
There's something about these strings I feel, something about the look ain't real. It makes me wanna keep on playing. They didn't reinvent the wheel. There must be something in the atmosphere that's got me missing yesteryears. I could put some roots deep down, you by my side to land in here. There's something in the way you walk, something in the way you light this place. I just wanna stay. I just wanna stay a little longer. Don't you go away. 'Cause I just wanna stay a little longer. Maybe we could get a dog. Maybe I could finally start my dog.
They are songs to be used in guitar reviews that otherwise wouldn't be there, and there would be no song. But they teach me so much about the gear. It's not about creating a piece of art and selling it to people and going on stage with it. For that, to me, AI music holds a huge value. For the average musician to work on their craft and actually push themselves in a direction. But I'm a very special case. I already know how to produce. I know how to arrange. This is just helping me to steer in different directions. Now, to you, this might be stupid. You might not have that case happening for you. But let me ask you this. Tools. I see lots of ads now, Black Friday sale. There are so many tools that you're probably using and you're okay with. Drum samples with the MIDI library. And you use the MIDI library to play these drum samples. You didn't create a single thing there. Is that different from AI? Well, yeah, it is. But that's just one thing. Isotopes Ozone is using AI tools to analyze your mix and make a recommendation for a master. You might be using something like that. There are many AI tools now in music. Is that okay? What about many companies now have these bass plugins where you've got sampled bass and also a library to put, you're pretty much piecing together ideas of people. Well, the big difference is, of course, that the people who created those MIDI parts and who sampled those instruments got paid. We always get back to whoever created it has to be paid, right? AI singers, when they are like the Resing from IK Multimedia, which I'm doing a review for, and so on, they are asked, they come to the studio, they get paid for the job. So when their voices are being used, this is an absolute quid pro quo, they were compensated. But there are so many tools now, whether it's harmony tools, fake harmony, autotune, samples, so many tools that are highly artificial. And when you're producing music, you're probably using loads of them. I have an AI song generated, I split it into stems, I kill everything other than the vocal. I know the answer to that, but isn't that just another tool? No, it isn't. No, it isn't just another tool. Because I didn't write it. That was written for me. Yeah, I gave it a prompt. Fuck that. I didn't write that melody. And even if I changed the chords completely, which I sometimes do, I still didn't write it. It is a different kind of tool. But could we not see it as yet another tool? I don't know. Look, I use this stuff, but I'm still torn what it all means. And you can tell me, stop it, you're a hypocrite. I can't report on it. I can't talk about it. I don't know where we stand if I don't look at it. For anyone opening their mouth really wide, saying, well, I don't need to, step inside to know that it's stupid, whatever. Yeah, but I want to know the enemy. And for me, it's not an enemy. For me, it's actually some of the most fun I've had ever. Because I'm moving forward as a musician. But to you, it might not be. But there are so many tools now that are using something fake to generate music, and it's being used in all the music all over the place, and people are playing to tracks live and, DAWs and whatever, and autotunes and what. I don't know. It will change our jobs and the music scene and industry drastically very soon. I am convinced of that. And the sad part is that AI music is not the biggest danger to society. If some musicians have to retrain and work at McDonald's, so be it. Or do YouTube or whatever. But we all know that there's much bigger dangers. That doesn't mean that that AI music isn't annoying for some of us, but it is definitely not the thing that's going to kill society. Because society likes generic music and they go to Spotify anyway. Some of you do, for reasons I can't understand. Why do you do that? But yeah, we'll see where it goes. If you want to comment, go ahead. If you want to judge me for making little AI songs for my videos, do it. If you're on Spotify, don't, because that would be hypocritical. Judge the labels. They had a chance to take them down, and they struck a deal to take their money for the label. That I'm pretty sure of that. Whatever. Way too long video. Animals at the end.